Okay, boys and girls, here we are again. Todd Vandermeide, former NRA lobbyist with Freedom Steel. Today's video is going to be about the new semi-auto ban filed in Illinois, House Bill 5855 by Representative Morgan. I've done a lot of analysis of a lot of bills over my career, and a lot of times I have just gone into the minutia about how stupid these people are and just ripped these things to shreds, that they have no concept or any sort of expertise about the subject matter and what they're trying to regulate. And I would just go on and on about everything. And sometimes in the past, they would take these criticisms and we would use this to win votes and defeat bills. Well, the makeup of the current General Assembly, with 73 Democrats in the House and 40 Democrats in the Senate, means that I see no way right now, no path to kill these bills off through an honest discourse and debate about what they're actually trying to do. This is being driven by pure emotions. That's it. They want to ban stuff, guns bad, guns evil. This is what we're going to do. Okay. So with that, I've made the decision that I'm going to talk about the stuff that even Ray Charles could see. I'm going to talk about the basics, that how this is going to impact gun owners, but I am not going to do that deep dive. There are things in here that I see that make me laugh as to how stupid the people that draft these bills, that write down what they want, this is what I want it to do, and that they don't have the technical expertise to understand what they're actually doing. Because if we can't stop this bill, there's no reason to help them build a better mousetrap. And in the past, sometimes I have seen my criticisms, my critiques, my testimony in committees be used to draft amendments to try to get them to where they can take away some of that opposition from members of the General Assembly to secure the votes to pass this stuff. Mind you, right after Sandy Hook, 3 weeks after Sandy Hook, we stared down a semi-auto ban in the Illinois General Assembly, and we were the first state to defeat it post Sandy Hook, because they wrote a very broad, sweeping ban and did a lot of things. And back then, the numbers within the General Assembly weren't so lopsided. So with downstate Democrats and the an overwhelming majority of Republican members of either caucus, then we had the ability to cobble together either 30 votes in the Senate or 60 votes in the House to stop the bills. I don't see that today. I just don't. 13 Democrats can walk off the House side and they still have 60 votes to pass it, not counting if we have any turncoat Republicans like Jim Durkin in there who decide to vote for this. So I'm going to run through this bill. I have some topics to cover, but my attitude and what I am going to espouse to all the gun groups in the state of Illinois is we're not sitting down to negotiate. We're not negotiating our own demise. We're not negotiating on the bill. We're not talking in depth about the bill. We're not going to help you build a better gun ban, because we're just going to go to court. We're going to go to federal court and we're going to pummel you. We are going to seek an injunction. We will seek all the relief that we can. And if you look at what is on the books today, December 4th, in Illinois as far as gun laws, we are coming after the Illinois statutes, and I will tell the gun grabbers within the General Assembly, mark my words, you are going to have less in the near future, even after passing this, than you have today when we get done with you in the federal courts. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will have less. I don't think you're going to have a FOID card. I don't think this gun ban you're not going to have, even if you pass it. We are going to and that's just the beginning. And you better wake up that New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin has issued, as a federal judge said, a reset in the world of the Second Amendment. And as the chief judge of the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals said, that the Second Amendment went from a second-class right to a supercharged right. And that's what we're about. So we're not here to bargain for anything. We're here to flip you the bird and tell you no to the General Assembly. And if you want to go on ahead and pass this, then we'll see you in court. And we're not giving 1 inch. We're going to start taking ground back by the yard. That's my feeling. So we don't negotiate. We don't give them ideas. We will talk about how this impacts the average gun owner and what you have to face with this. So it starts, there's a bunch of red flag stuff and some other things in here I'm just not going to get into. I'm not going to delve into that. Obviously, they're jacking the FOID card age up to 21. That's one thing that they've beat their chest about, because the Highland Park shooter's father signed off on a FOID card. I don't think they understand all the implications of this. It certainly leaves open questions that if you are 18, 19, or 20 years old, you are out of the house living on your own, you have acquired firearms, what does that do? Don't know. But here it is. Starts on the bottom of page 52. Manufacture, possession, delivery, sale, and purchase of assault weapons, 50 caliber rifles, and 50 caliber cartridges. They go through a named list of guns here as to what this is. The definition of an assault weapon: assault shotgun or rifle, an assault pistol, a semi-automatic centerfire rifle that can accept a detachable magazine and has at least one of the following: a folding or telescoping stock, any grip of the weapon, including a pistol grip, a thumb hole stock, or any other stock, the use of which would allow individual to grip the weapon, resulting in any finger on the trigger hand, in addition to the trigger finger being directly below any portion of the action of the weapon when firing. It's a new definition. Center fire, so they're taking all the 22 rim fire stuff out. Forward pistol grip, flash suppressor, grenade launcher, or flare launcher. Semi-automatic centerfire rifle that has an overall length of less than 30 inches. Interesting. Semi-automatic pistol that can accept detachable magazine and has at least one of the following: an ability to accept a magazine, detachable ammunition magazine that attaches at some point outside the pistol grip, threaded barrel capable of accepting a flash suppressor, forward pistol grip, or silencer. Let's see. Semi-automatic semi-automatic shotgun that has both of the following: folding or telescoping stock, any grip of the weapon, including a pistol grip, thumb hole stock, or any other stock, the use of which would allow an individual to grip the weapon, resulting in any finger, same as the rifle stuff. That's interesting on how they've done this with shotguns. Any semi-automatic shotgun has the ability to accept a detachable magazine. Shotgun with a revolving cylinder. A semi-automatic pistol with a fixed magazine can accept more than 10 rounds. A semi-automatic centerfire rifle that has a fixed magazine that it can accept more than 10 rounds. Assault weapon does not include any firearm that is manually operated by bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. Is unservable, is an antique firearm, uses rimfire ammunition or cartridges, has been excluded as an assault weapon by the Department. They give DNR a bunch of rulemaking authority. So let's get down California stuff in this section, the firearm is considered to have a ability to accept a detachable magazine unless the magazine or ammunition feeding device can only be removed through the disassembly of the firearm action. Assault weapon attachment means any device capable of being attached to a firearm that is specifically designed for making or converting a firearm into any of the firearms listed in paragraph 1 of this subsection. That's going to lead to a lot of interesting things. 50 caliber rifle, 50 caliber cartridge means 50 BMG. So they're not going after 50 Beowulf, 50 AE, specifically 50 BMG. Remember, the definitions are everything to these laws. Detachable magazine means ammunition feeding device that can be readily removed from the firearm without requiring disassembly of the firearm. Locking mechanism, state police. So the state police shall take all the steps necessary to carry out the requirements of this section within 180 days after the effective date of this amendatory act of the 102nd General Assembly. And then, here's the meat. Except as provided in subsections D, E, and G, on or after the effective date of the Amendatory Act of the 102nd General Assembly, it is unlawful for any person within this state to knowingly manufacture, deliver, sell, or purchase, or cause to be manufactured, delivered, sold, or purchased, or cause to be possessed by another, an assault weapon attachment, 50 caliber rifle, or 50 caliber cartridge. So this bill has an immediate effective date. So what this means is that upon the governor's signature, it is unlawful, illegal for any person, any dealer, anybody within this state to manufacture, deliver, sell, purchase, or cause to be manufactured, delivered. So sales stop immediately. Absolutely. And that's it. Now, part of this, so the ban of so-called assault weapons stops the minute the governor signs the paper. That's it. Later on in this bill, they talk about magazines, and we'll get to that. But the sale of magazines stops, magazines over 10 rounds, stops the minute the governor signs this bill when it gets to him. It also goes into there about possession, and so we'll run through this real quickly. Except as otherwise provided in subsection E and F, 300 days after the effective date of the Amendatory Act of the 102nd is unlawful for any person within the state to knowingly possess an assault weapon, 50 caliber rifle or 50 caliber cartridge. E, this section does not apply to a person who possessed an assault weapon or 50 caliber rifle prohibited by subsection D before the effective date of this Amendatory Act, if the person has provided a registration affidavit. So they will grandfather in existing firearms if you have registered them with the state. They'll be also magnanimous to let you keep your guns if you have registered them. Wonderful. But now let's go back to these definitions. Remember, it's not just the named list. It's not just ARs. It's not just those things. They've added in this part about handguns that have threaded barrels. And as silencers have become more popular across the country, Illinois being the only state between New York and California that outlaws them for civilians, and as muzzle comps for competition pistols and muzzle brakes and all that stuff, nada. That becomes illegal. So if you don't register those pistols, then your competition pistol, your self-defense pistol, whatever, becomes a so-called assault weapon and is verboten. So this is about building a huge registry within the state of Illinois. They've been so mad about how when they require people to surrender FOID cards and their guns, and they don't have an actual database of every actual firearm you've ever acquired through a dealer, through private transactions and the like, that they are they want to register. So that if they jerk under current law your FOID card, they can say you have 10 firearms and you have to account for all 10 of these. So you can only transfer these firearms to an heir or a dealer. You can move them out of state. That's it. It's $25 per person to register. They're being magnanimous in that, and only charging us another fee on top of the FOID card and everything else for that. Let me scroll through here. So typical exemptions are peace officers, local law enforcement agencies, wardens, superintendents, prisons, members, armed forces, and security officers for nuke plants. Manufacturer of same for those entities 1 through 5. And then they go into a bunch of gobbledygook here about competitions of Olympic guns or whatever. Here's a real interesting piece. Any non-resident who transport within 24 hours a weapon for any lawful purpose from any place where the non-resident may lawfully possess and carry that weapon to any other place where a non-resident may lawfully possess and carry that weapon if during the transportation. So they're giving non-residents 24 hours right of passage, and that's it. And then they go into a whole bunch of gobbledygook about transporting said firearms. Sentence. So, manufactured, delivered, sold, purchased, or possessed an assault weapon in violation of this commits a Class 3 felony for the first violation and a Class 2 for a second or subsequent. So, let's continue on. So here, you've got the firearms. In Section 2, you've got the attachments. Section 3, you've got 50 caliber rifle. Section 4, you have 50 caliber cartridges. So there are 4 different penalties you can get, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and afterwards. Manufactured, delivery, or sale of large capacity ammunition feeding device that can hold more than 10 rounds. Does not include attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with 22 caliber rimfire ammunition. Interesting. Does not include a tubular device that is contained in a lever action firearm. See, that's one of those things where in the past I had commented that Henry rifles and a lot of that stuff would be illegal because many of the Henrys in 38 or whatever hold more than 10 rounds. So this is where, in commenting on stuff and pointing out that you're actually banning lever action rifles, Henrys, and the like, that they have sat there and specifically gotten smarter. So that's why I'm not going into great detail about this. Except as provided in subsection, it is unlawful for any person within the state to knowingly manufacture, deliver, sell, purchase, or possess, or cause to be manufactured, delivered, sold, or purchased a large capacity ammunition feeding device. Does not apply to the same 1 through 5 exemptions we saw above. The sale of large capacity ammunition feeding devices to the same. Sentence. A person not only delivers, sells, purchases, or cause to be delivered, sold, or purchased in violation of subsection large capacity ammunition feeding device capable of holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition commits a Class 3 felony for the first offense and a Class 2 felony for the second or subsequent offense. Violation or for delivery of possession of more than 2 of these devices at the same time. Any other violation is a Class A misdemeanor. your magazines become, any magazine over 10 rounds to merely possess becomes illegal the day the governor signs this bill. That's it. That is the long and short of this. And right here at the bottom, you have takes effect upon becoming law. Right there. So the minute the governor puts his pen to paper, dealers can no longer sell semi-autos that fit these definitions. If you have one in the queue and you have not picked it up, so sorry, no mas. There's that. If you have magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, and the day, your carry gun. And see, this is, it doesn't matter how many FOID cards, how many background checks, how many carry licenses, you are never good enough. They wanted fingerprints for FOID cards last year. And even if you had submitted your fingerprints, we're still not good enough. We're still not good enough to own modern rifles. This is going to go to court. So people have been asking me who to chip in towards. My gun club, Aurora Sportsman's Club, has begun a litigation fund and a Protect the Second Amendment fund. And so I also see FFL Illinois, because of the dealer impact this is going to have, getting involved in this. Those are the first two groups that I would do. A lot of people know my great reservations about one of the lawyers who has been litigating a bunch of this stuff, and my absolute lack of faith in, I would not let him represent me in a parking ticket. Leave it at that. So I think we need competent counsel on this. I think we need to have a good set of lawyers who are versed in this, who haven't just been spinning their wheels at things. I think we need to have a broad set of plaintiffs. And I think these two groups are the two that should be at the forefront of everything within this state. And that's my suggestion. So with that, I'll probably do a couple more videos about this as things go on. There was a hearing scheduled for the 9th of this month that, and then everybody got all of Twitter about doing witness slips and the like, and then they canceled the meeting. Why? I don't know. They canceled it. They canceled it because maybe they got ahead of themselves. They canceled it because somebody couldn't be available. It doesn't matter. The chances are they're going to try to run this in the lame duck session between the 4th and the 11th of January. And I would wager to say that the governor is going to put his pen to paper before the end of January. That is the timeline I see us being on at this juncture. So stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, share, copy and paste the link for this video to Facebook or any of your social media accounts. Put it on forums and websites. We'll keep doing this stuff, trying to keep this one down, but we're hitting the 25-minute mark. So as always, guys, keep the faith and frag out.